Hi, welcome to Eternal Beta, the weekly web video show about different types of marketing, digital marketing, technology, and all that good stuff. I'm Scott Rowe.
And I'm Scott Bishop.
Today we have two topics that we want to discuss. One is Amazon Cloud Search. They've released a new service, in some ways kind of to take on Google in regards to the Google site search offering. And then the other topic
is the sale of Instagram to Facebook for $1 billion, which has got the interwebs in a roar and ruckus. So we'll be talking about this week.
I've been very roary and ruckusy myself, actually. So let's talk about Amazon Cloud Search first. It's an interesting service. What Amazon's basically done is they've taken their A9 service that they use for their own search. So when you actually search Amazon, you're using their technology, and they're making it available for developers and marketers to integrate into their own software. A lot of companies, including us, we tend to use Google search for a lot of things. I've actually, back when I used to develop, I actually created my own search algorithms and things like that. And let's be realistic. I mean, barely anybody really does it better than Google does in regards to just total relevancy and things like that. They have a great service, and it's wonderful to use for very information-heavy websites. But when you really start to think about e-commerce, really, there isn't another example of who can really do things better than Amazon with the A9 system. So what they basically released is a whole new service that allows you, if you have a large e-commerce site, to be able to create extremely customized, tailored searches for your different types of products. So they allow you to create numerous versions of different types of searches for different types of products, all those things, and it's very, very customizable. It's a really interesting and a cool concept, but another thing that's really kind of nice about it is the way they really price the whole thing. Not only is it very customizable, you integrate with your software in different ways, but you're really only paying for it as you need it. You're paying for it kind of on an as-hour type of basis. So as opposed to spending an enormous amount of money on developing your own search tools and your own search algorithms, you can tap into theirs. The other great side of that is nobody's much better at scalability than Amazon with their cloud services. So it really doesn't matter, if you have 300 people searching your site 1 minute and 3 million the next minute. Their services are completely designed to be able to handle that kind of a load without any sort of an outage. If you're a company and you have to deploy all that hardware to be ready for it, it can be extremely costly. Not only the software but the hardware cost of that. So it's a really interesting service. I don't necessarily think it's a one-to-one replacement for a lot of Google things for most people, but it's cool.
Do you think Amazon wants people to, on the back end, start placing a lot of their e-commerce products on Amazon? Is that why they're offering this, or it's just another service that they have? I think as part of the cloud.
I think it's part of. They're really working on deploying a lot more cloud services. They've had a lot of data services in the past. A lot of people to do scalability. We've leveraged those for clients with the high traffic sites and things like that. I mean, if you think about it, Amazon has spent years and millions of dollars in developing this software, developing this technology. Why not remarket and sell it to people? And in most cases, they're not going to be a direct competitor to Amazon for the Goliath that they are.
Right.
But if you're a small e-commerce site, or a medium, or actually probably more of a medium to large size e-commerce site, and you need this type of search technology, this is a wonderful service to accommodate that.
So you don't look at it as they're going after Google in terms of trying to take away from their search business. It's just another product offering that they kind of already had anyway, so why not monetize it?
I think, a lot of people are trying to make the argument that it's a shot across Google's bow and things. And, okay, maybe to some extent, but I still think when it comes to general website search, Google does a wonderful job of that. You can tell them what you don't want indexed in your site. And it's basically, most of your results are based on the Google index. So if your site is well indexed, you'll do well. The nice thing about the Amazon version is you're telling it what to index, and you can then tailor it to tell it to give certain things more emphasis and heavy up here and there. So it gives you a little more control over how your search results are rendered, as opposed to Google. Google gives you some level of customization on that, but nothing like the way Amazon's presenting their system. So it's interesting. I'll be interested to see, if there are any medium to large scale companies start using that technology to kind of hear about what the developers and those integrators of those services, what they think of the use of the system and how it works. So that's kind of cool.
Cool. On my end, something that's way easier for me to wrap my head around than all of that complicated search talk is just the sale of Instagram. For those of you that are not familiar, Instagram is it started out as an iPhone app. Android got it, I think, about a week ago. It's got about 30 million users, and it just sold to Facebook for $1 billion with a B, which is a lot considering that it didn't make any money and it had no form of revenue. So to pay $1 billion for something that had no incoming revenue is a lot.
Yeah.
And there's really two reasons I think that Facebook would value Instagram at $1 billion. I think it had a valuation of around 500 million, but they decided to double that up and take it immediately. And one is just because there's, of all the great things that Facebook does very well, the one thing that they don't do well is mobile.
Yeah.
And they don't have a very good mobile app as far as being able to monetize that. They don't have hardly any ads that are coming in and no revenue coming in off of mobile. So Instagram does mobile pretty well, and they think that they can help monetize that. But also, the second reason that I think that they paid for it is because of the amount of data that they will be able to collect, which ultimately the better data you have, the better your ads are. The better your ads are, the more people are going to want to spend on it. And the reason that they'll be able to collect more data is because the top sharing feature on Facebook, it's not writing a post, it's not sharing a video, it's not putting links, it's photos.
Right.
So by taking the most popular photo sharing network, mobile network with Instagram, you're getting people to do something that they're already familiar with, and you're now incorporating that into Facebook. So only 20% of users were sharing their Instagram photos with Facebook. Now that will probably go up a lot just from nothing else than just the news. People will, and probably they'll make it easier to connect to Facebook and that type of stuff. But now they'll be able to track geolocation of where people are taking photos, the time of the day that they're taking those photos, and that type of stuff is all geared towards ads.
They have some level of that, within like the Facebook apps that
Sure.
exist already. But just the overall interface has just never
Yeah.
felt that solid, simply because it has to do a lot of different things.
Right.
You have to be able to check in, you have to be able to post a comment, you have to be able to do a link, you have to be able to, all these different things. Whereas Instagram really just focused on one type of content.
Yep.
And by allowing for those enhanced filters, those Polaroid
Right.
type looks and feels and things, it just gave it an entirely different experience and made an individual feel a little bit more like an artist, as opposed to just somebody posting a picture of their kid or of a
Right.
wall. All of a sudden, it made it seem like it's this mystical, magical, artistic type of thing.
Right.
And
take really cool pics of my cheeseburger.
Right.
Right.
And there have been some
Filter.
great photo services out there like Picasa and Flickr, but none of them have even really been able to tap in to get people to share in that same way
Right.
mobilely. So by kind of connecting these two things together, I think is a good move for Facebook. As somebody that's used Instagram, I don't know. Whenever something like that I've kind of enjoyed using, and it's been this small, you always kind of root for the underdog a little
Sure,
bit.
yeah.
So to have it brought into Facebook, you're like,
Well, people are terrified that they're going to start getting paid photos on their Instagram feed and things like that, and they're going to start seeing ads, and who knows? I don't imagine that Facebook is going to start off and completely change everyone's experience. But you never know.
It'll happen at some
Eventually,
point, because they have to drive revenue.
They're going to have to monetize it.
Yeah.
'Cause at some point, you need to pay back $1 billion somehow. So they're going to need, they have a lot of smart people that I'm sure have figured out a way to get their money back. But eventually, that's going to come down the pipe, I would imagine.
Yeah. No, I'm excited to see what happens with it.
Mm-hmm.
We'll, I guess, probably find out in the next 6 to 8 months to see if they completely
Right.
redesign the Instagram application, if they figure out a way to implement it in more with the Facebook version
Sure.
Of the mobile apps and stuff. But
Well, and just from somebody who's used the Facebook advertising platform, I'll be interested to see if any of that data or new insights to your pages and posts will start to get incorporated that might have some sort of effect from Instagram. So I'll be
level of
interested in that.
targetability.
Right.
A Facebook platform from an advertising perspective, it's pretty amazing. The amount of segmentation you can do with what is still a relatively simplistic platform.
Yep.
But being able to do a little bit better geolocation based on mobile proximity and things like that could be interesting.
Yeah, because right now there really isn't much of that. So if they can start to incorporate that, it'll just make what's already a very targeted ad even more effective for you.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yep.
Well, thanks for watching. We'll be back next week with more on the Eternal Beta.
See you
easy.
then.